Hello everyone, this is Taki'h. I am sharing this talk with you today from Thailand where I'm at, so if there's any background noises or people passing by, this is part of being here in my shack by the beach. So a question came in, a very important one, from someone who's connected to my page, and he asked very tenderly and humbly and vulnerably, for advice. So the question is that he's been married for some time, almost 2 decades, and a good marriage. And his partner is interested in exploring other people. And it's something that's come up recently. And she reassures him that she loves him. And so what should he do? He's confused. So this is a very common thing that comes up for those who dare to speak it. First of all, so that's why I want to share the answer with everybody as opposed to just with him. I will probably be incomplete in this video. There are so many things to consider and to speak on and things to take into consideration. So there might be a second part to this video, but I will do my best right now to speak to some of the general themes. And everybody's case is different. And so please don't take this as this is how it should be and this is how every couple should do it. No, absolutely not. So first of all, to acknowledge that when such conversations do arise between a couple, to see it as a blessing. Not that there's something that's gone wrong, terribly wrong, and oh my God, this means we're going to break up, or this is the end, or that the love is gone, or the spark is gone, or whatever. No, this is the exact opposite. It means there's enough love and there's enough trust to communicate the truth. And even if that means it might hurt the other person, even if it means that there's a risk that the other won't understand, or they'll judge me, or this or that, that to come to this level of honesty and transparency with your partner is a reflection on who you are and what you have together. So take a moment to celebrate that. Begin there. Definitely begin there. Even amongst the tears or the frustration or the fear or the whatever else might be coming up, celebrate that you have such a connection with yourself and each other. One of the things that I truly do believe is that we are evolving beings, and that something that was right for me or good for me or was my way of being and relating in some previous moment may not be the way I am now. So who I was 10 years ago, I can say personally for myself, is absolutely a different world from who I am now, or what I'm connected to, or how I live. So to recognize that for each other, and to think that the other person I married or committed to or started off relating with X amount of time ago is no longer. So to understand that, to not cling on to the idea that who are you and I don't recognize you, and this is not what we're about, this is not who well, you have changed, hopefully. Nothing that is living, that is alive, is the same, stays the same, is stagnant, is static. It is all in constant flow, change, evolution, including us. So to recognize that and to honor that and to love yourself for that, to love each other for that. And then the question is, can we flow together even though we are changing? So to take a moment with that and to connect with your heart. Now, your mind may say all kinds of things. Your mind may say, this is wrong, this is not what couples do, this is not the way. Take a pause and just close your eyes and connect to your heart. And after connecting to your heart, asking the question, am I able to grow from this? After connecting to your heart, asking the question, am I able to grow from this? Is this an opportunity for my heart to expand, for my love to become deeper? So you might face a battle here between your mind with its concepts, and your heart. And that's an opportunity. Now, granted, there are value systems and there are ecosystems within yourself, and this may not be okay for you. Even at the heart level, you cannot find that place, and that's fine to honor that too. It's not that the heart will say yes to everything and there are, you know, anything is okay and all of that. No, that's not your truth. If that's not your truth, then that's not your truth. So there's no shoulds or standards. But taking that moment to distinguish between the concepts in your mind and your heart, and seeing this as an opportunity to grow, whichever way things turn out. And also to say that you can have these conversations from a heart space, from a loving space of like, I hear you, I feel you, I understand you, or I don't get it at all, but I still hear you and I still want to stay connected to you. So that this doesn't have to be a fight, and it doesn't have to be a me against you or what you want. And that you can do this cuddled up or holding hands, definitely looking each other in the eyes and maintaining body contact and love there at the center. The love that you have for each other and wanting to be together. So there's that stage, and then there's the actual decision making. So what do you do? No one can answer that for you. It's a very, very individual and personal, private experience, journey, and you may come to different conclusions in different stages of your life. So I want to just name that because we evolve and we change, that there may be a stage in your life where it is about exploring different people. And there may be a stage in your life where it's really about monogamy or staying with one person and going very deep. And there may be a time in your life where it is about maintaining that going deep with one person and perhaps opening up to others. So to just recognize that there are phases and stages, and just because you open up to others doesn't mean that you won't be able to come back to something else or come to something else at some other point. So one great advice is to have a time limit. So to recognize that, okay, one of us wants to explore something, and how is it okay for that to happen for 6 months or 1 month or this one weekend or whatever you decide. And to recognize that, okay, I'm going to stay open for that amount of time. I'm going to just say yes to this for that amount of time. That's one safe and comfortable or secure way to do this, instead of it being so open-ended that it seems way too overwhelming. Another thing to point out is that just because one of you wants something doesn't mean the other has to do the same. This is a big pitfall. So that it is often that, okay, if you get a cookie, I also get a cookie kind of thing. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, something like that they have in English. I get that wrong sometimes. No, hold on to your integrity, hold on to your truth. And just because one person wants to explore others doesn't mean that that's your truth, or that's where you're coming from, or that's where your partner needs to do as well. So to push the other to do the same, or to push yourself to do that, is trying to make up for something, make yourself feel better, or that you're equal, or that, it's not from the heart, definitely not from the heart. So to figure out what's right for you is different, perhaps, than what is right for your partner, and to acknowledge that it doesn't mean you're missing out, or there's something wrong with you, or that you're somehow less, or the other one's getting away with this and that. Then that means you're not really in it from the heart. So to go back to that step and reevaluate where your yes is coming from, if you agree. Now, if you don't agree, this is a challenging space. If you don't agree, then the other needs to make a decision. And sometimes that means that there might be resentment. There might be resentment because they didn't get to live out something that they really needed to live out in order to find out something about themselves, even if it is to find out that I don't want this, or that the fantasy was better than the reality, or that, you know, this is way too complicated, forget it, or whatever. Very unexpected results sometimes. But yeah, it may be that they feel that they miss out, and that might cause resentment. So just to be transparent and honest about all the things that this brings up. It might also be that the other person then resorts to lying. So just to have the clarity on whether you want transparency or not. Some couples do, some couples don't. Some couples have the don't ask, don't tell. It's a military policy under the Bush administration for gays in the military. So that's where that term comes from. I won't ask you, you don't ask me. I won't tell you, you don't tell me. And please, let's make sure that we don't find out. Don't ask, don't tell policy. It works for some. It may or may not increase your level of intimacy. It may or may not increase the way that you can grow together. Most of the time, what I have seen from this approach is that it does not increase intimacy, and ultimately it does lead to some kind of separation, or, you know, kind of you're moving together, but horizontally, not still connected so much. But that might be a phase, if it's like, you know, if it's something that you feel like that's the only way you can do it, then explore and see what that brings up. Ultimately, this is a journey, and it's not about the details or the outcome. It's about what happens in the journey. So what comes up in you, what comes up in your relationship, what comes up in your partner. These are the fruits, these are the gifts, not did we make it, and am I still the special one, and am I still, are we still the same, happily married, they lived happily ever after kind of story you want. If you really want to know yourself, know your partner, and be in this as a continuous discovery, and use this as an opportunity for that. Just even the question, is this okay for you? That I want to explore with people, is this okay for you? And be very clear on the terms. What do you want to know? Don't you want to know? What are the boundaries that, like, maybe certain level of physical connection is okay, and then beyond is not, or, you know, whatever your terms are, and agree to reconnect and reevaluate that every so often, whatever you agree on. Like, you know, if this is a short-term experiment, then maybe shorter-term reevaluations, and if not, maybe longer-term reevaluations. But this is very, very important. And to realize that if there really is love, then love can't be taken away. It can transform, it can change expressions, but it cannot die or leave. It's an energy. It just transmutes. Now, I know that may not be a consolation prize for the ones who need, like, I want to know that we're going to be okay and we're going to die together. But it's an important realization. And that's to hold on to love, actually. That's the most important part of that, of this journey, of whatever journey you are doing together as a couple or as friends or as family, or that's actually the point. So can I still hold on to love, even in the grief, even in the excitement? And I also want to point out that sometimes, as I said, the fantasy is more appealing than the reality, and sometimes it is very complicated, and sometimes it's like, yeah, but, you know, just even feeling that connection is good enough, and actually the physical takes away from it, and I don't want to go into that, or just the flirtation is important, and I don't need more than that, or yeah. And so to discover what you're really asking for actually needs experimenting, but to tune in and get a sense of it before you start experimenting, and then to be open to surprises, because I've never met anybody, including myself, that has gone into this kind of experimenting without having been incredibly surprised at what comes up for themselves and for their relating. So I hope this helps you, and I hope that you're able to take the takeaway message, which is to stay with love, to stay connected to the heart, stay connected in essence, and take it slow. Baby steps are usually great steps. Leaping, jumping from a cliff is usually something gets left behind, either your heart or your body, like what's okay for the body, or your connection or something gets left behind if you go too fast. So yeah, experiment, explore to the level that is healthy and okay for you and as a couple. Honor whatever agreements you have. Stay in your integrity of what's right for you, no matter what your partner is doing or not doing. And observe everything that comes up. My God, what a blessing. So this is what I have to say on that question. I hope it has supported you. I hope it has created some things that you can then use to get to know yourself better and come to greater intimacy with yourself and with your partner, and greater authenticity in the way you live. This is my hope, my wish for you. Thank you for joining me today. And if you're finding this helpful and supportive, please share it with others so they may benefit, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Blessings.